If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed trying to eat healthier, the grocery store can be a real minefield of confusing labels. So in this explainer, we're cutting through all that noise. We're going to go through a full day of eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, to show you exactly how to pick foods that are genuinely good for you. Think of this as your new grocery game plan. Let's jump in.
So here's how we'll break it down. First, we're going to build a way better breakfast. Then we'll take a look at what's really hiding in our morning coffee and tea. After that, we'll completely rethink the standard lunch and then pull together a seriously nutrient-dense dinner. And we'll wrap it all up with a simple philosophy that's going to make your next shopping trip a total breeze.
All right, let's start with breakfast. And we're going to kick things off with a kitchen staple that, believe it or not, has a surprisingly controversial past: butter.
Yeah, so for decades, we were all told that butter was the enemy and that we should be eating things like margarine instead. Well, it turns out that was a huge mistake. Most of those butter alternatives are made from highly processed inflammatory oils like soybean and palm oil. Real butter, on the other hand, is just cream and salt. It's a simple, healthy, saturated fat. It's a whole food.
So what exactly are these inflammatory seed oils I'm talking about? Well, they're things like soybean oil, canola, and sunflower oil, and I'm telling you, they are everywhere in our food system. They're super processed and are a major driver of chronic inflammation, which is tied to all sorts of health problems. Honestly, one of the best things you can do for your health is just start reading labels and kicking these things out of your diet.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Not all butter is created equal. When you choose butter from grass-fed cows, you are getting a massively superior product. We're talking 500 times more CLAs. That's a type of fatty acid that can actually help with fat loss, plus way more omega-3s and vitamins A and E. The difference is just huge.
Okay, let's move on to another breakfast staple, the incredible egg. The egg aisle is just a maze of marketing terms, right? You've got cage-free, free range. What do they actually mean? And do they really make a difference?
So here's the real deal. Terms like cage-free and free range, they're mostly just marketing fluff. Those chickens are still living indoors, usually in a crowded warehouse. Pasture-raised is the one you want to look for. That's the gold standard. These hens actually live outdoors, with room to roam, eating a natural diet of bugs and grass. And just look at the nutritional payoff. Double the omega-3s, 3 times the vitamin E, and an incredible 7 times more beta-carotene.
And hey, if you're a cereal person, this one simple swap can make a massive difference. A typical cereal, even one that's marketed as healthy, can pack 3 teaspoons of added sugar in a single bowl with hardly any fiber. Compare that to whole rolled oats. 0 added sugar packed with natural fiber, and they're just a natural powerhouse of minerals and vitamins. You're getting way more nutrition for less money. It's a no-brainer.
All right, we've covered what to eat for breakfast. Now let's talk about what we drink. Because what you brew your coffee or tea in can matter just as much as what's actually in the bag. We all love the convenience of those little coffee pods and tea bags, right? But have you ever stopped to think about what they're actually made of and what might be seeping into your morning cup?
Okay, so here's the issue. With K-Cups, you're shooting boiling water through a little plastic cup with an aluminum lid. This raises some real concerns about those materials leaching into your coffee. The guy who invented them even said he regrets creating them for home use. And tea bags? A lot of them are made with plastics that can literally shed microparticles into your tea. And then you've got flavored coffees, which mostly use artificial, petroleum-based flavorings. Your morning ritual might not be as clean as you think.
But the good news is, the solutions are incredibly simple. If you love your machine, just get a reusable stainless steel pod and fill it with your favorite coffee grounds. For tea, switch to loose leaf and a simple metal diffuser. And for your creamer, just stick to the basics: milk, heavy cream, and stay away from the ones loaded with corn syrup and those nasty hydrogenated oils.
Okay, now for lunch. This is where processed foods like bread, deli meats, and chips really tend to show up. But with just a few key tips, you can easily build a much healthier midday meal.
The bread aisle can be totally overwhelming, but this little 3-step check makes it super easy. First, if you see enriched flour on the label, just put it back. That's code for a grain that's been stripped of all its nutrients and then had synthetic ones added back in. Second, scan the ingredient list for hidden sugars and those inflammatory seed oils we talked about. And finally, look for the good stuff, 100% whole grains and a nice high fiber count.
So a lot of people think deli meat is just plain unhealthy, but the problem usually isn't the meat itself, it's all the junk they add to it. The conventional brands are often packed with fillers like cornstarch, preservatives, and weird emulsifiers. The solution is so simple. Just read the label and find a brand with a short, clean ingredient list. Turkey, salt, and seasonings. That's really all you need.
Okay, what about a little treat, like a side of chips?
There is one simple rule here that makes all the difference, and it applies to pretty much any fried snack food you can think of.
This is just a perfect example of the power of a simple swap. Almost every major brand of chip out there is fried in cheap, inflammatory seed oils like sunflower or canola. But now you can find brands that use better oils like avocado oil. Look, it's not a health food, but by avoiding that inflammatory oil, you're making a significantly better choice without having to give up that crunch you love.
All right, let's wrap up the day with dinner. For this, we're gonna focus on the foundation of the meal, the protein, and see just how much quality matters when we're talking about beef and salmon.
I absolutely love the phrase, "you are what you eat eats," and this chart shows you exactly why. Beef from cows that ate grass, their natural diet, is a completely different food from grain-fed beef. You're getting 5 times the anti-inflammatory omega-3s, 7 times the vitamin A, and twice the CLAs. I mean, the difference is staggering, and it all comes down to what the animal.
And it's the exact same story with salmon. Wild salmon gets that rich, vibrant pink color naturally from its diet in the wild. Farmed salmon, get this, its flesh would actually be gray if they didn't add color to its feed. And nutritionally, wild is just way superior, with 3 times more omega-3s and iron and 4 times more calcium.
So, after going through an entire day of eating, how do we tie all this together into a simple strategy you can actually use? It all comes down to a few really powerful principles.
Here it is. This is your game plan for your next shopping trip. First, always read the ingredient list, just ignore the flashy marketing on the front of the box. Second, choose whole foods over their ultra-processed versions whenever possible. Third, make it your mission to get rid of those inflammatory seed oils and added sugars. Fourth, when you can, upgrade to grass-fed and pasture-raised. And finally, never forget that powerful principle. You are what you eat eats.
Look, these changes don't have to be massive, and they don't have to happen all at once. Even one small change can make a really big difference. So, looking back at everything we've covered, I'll leave you with this question. What's the first simple swap you're going to make?